Oh, I am just dramatically fucking this up. It says live now. We ain't live now. That much I can confidently say. Oh, we are definitely live. So let's get everybody this link. I don't know what happened.
All right.
There we go. Tom in chat figured it out. Antoine Murphy figured it out. We're good. We're back. You guys missed it. In the time that we were down, Laffy admitted that Jokic was better than Embiid, and that everything was just a ruse to you guys on the YouTube chat. So
all of that is bullshit.
That is exactly how it happened.
None of that is accurate. But
I remember it happening exactly like that. I don't know.
Well, that's fair. I do like Jokic tonight. I mean, if that's any consolation.
Yeah, let's try to wrap this up a little bit quicker now. Let's actually look at these final two games. Is there anything you do or don't like from Denver outside of Jokic?
I don't like the fact that Jokic went to the X-ray room for an undisclosed injury and said that he was fine, because these guys always say they're fine, and then it swells up, whatever it is, or tightens up 2 days later, and then you've got a serious question on your hands. So I don't know what's going on with Jokic, and that's concerning to me.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I think 3 games. Like, I'm going to say the same thing I said last time. Gary Harris is one of those guys that you probably want to sprinkle in a little bit just in case he blows up for one of those games. Not a guy that you want to have a lot of at all, just because he's so regularly gives you like 25 to 28 fantasy points per game, but sprinkle in a little bit of him. And then Jamal Murray is 6,500. I think you have to get Jamal Murray exposure here, which is another reason, like on DraftKings where Murray's 6,500, it's a very easy and not really even expensive pivot off of a guy like Quinn Cook. I have a tough time I will have a tough time, I should say, not having a lot of Jamal Murray at that price point. It's too good of a spot against a bad Atlanta backcourt.
Yeah, I got 27% Murray on my first crunch. He's 7,500. He's the next closest guy to Chris Paul, $1,500 cheaper.
And that's on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's on FanDuel. I will absolutely be having some Murray love.
I hit the cap on DraftKings, 70%.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, 6,500 on DK is just a ridiculous price point.
It's really cheap because that's basically, he's actually kind of in no man's land. There aren't many guys around him, but he's $400 more than Gary Harris. He's 500 more than Lou Williams. He's 500 more than DeMarcus Cousins.
That's insanity.
Yeah, so Murray. And then do you want to just give our quick takes on Monty Morris, since we're probably going to get some questions about him. He's played in his last 5 games above 20 minutes, then 26, 22, 28, 31 over his last 4. He's getting a decent amount of run. He's producing, I guess like 0.89 fantasy points per minute this year. And he's $4,100 on DraftKings, and on FanDuel, Monty Morris, shooting guard eligible, 5,200, which seems a little bit high. And then Hernan Gomez, who is also very cheap, played 39 minutes last game, 30 the day before. Per minute production hasn't been there, Josh, but both of these guys are discounted. Both of them are getting good run. I think they're 2 guys we at least need to talk about here because of how cheap they are against the fastest paced team in the league and a bottom 5 defense.
Yeah, so you mentioned Monty Morris's price on FanDuel, 5,200, a little scary. For 4,100, it's a no-brainer. You should have a lot of them. I got 57% Monty Morris on my first crunch on FanDuel. That'll come down a bit, obviously. I don't have any reason to have that much Monty Morris, but I mean, any matchup against the Hawks is going to be at least mildly appealing. So I got a lot of Monty Morris. I got a lot of Hernan Gomez.
Yep. He's 4,100 on FanDuel, so that's a big discount in terms of, points per just opportunity cost is a lot lower on Hernan Gomez.
Yeah, so I have at least 10% exposure to Jokic, Murray, Harris, Millsap, Morris, Lyles, and Hernan Gomez. and that'll redistribute a little bit. But outside of being like dramatically underweight on Millsap and Harris, which are probably the two places I would want to be most underweight, I love Denver today.
Yeah, me too. Millsap facing his former team, by the way.
Yeah. I don't think he's looking for revenge in this spot.
Right. I hate the revenge narrative when you're playing for a team. You got moved to a team that's like really good, and you no longer play for a team that's maybe the worst in the entire league. So, yeah, that's probably not something we want to run with. My exposures right now, ready? Just the first crunch I ran. I hit the cap on DraftKings on Hernan Gomez at 70. Granted, I'm not going to leave it that high, but I think $3,800, a guy that's playing 30 plus minutes that just played, what did he play? 30, what did I say? 39 minutes the last game against the Hawks. Most projections are going to love him just because.
I only have him in for 29 minutes, but even if that's the case, like anything above 25 for a guy that's at 3,800 on DraftKings is just someone you need to pay attention to. Look, he's bad. He's probably the worst per minute guy on the Nuggets, but
not good.
When you get the minutes, that sort of offsets it a bit.
Yep. To be clear, I'm projecting him for 30 minutes, not 39. I'm just saying he's a guy that he can play a lot. He can play a lot of minutes.
Sure. Yeah, he can soak it up for sure.
And you don't really get that too often. By the way, Hernan Gomez would be a lot more favorable of a play if he was starting at power forward and not small forward. That's kind of just like the purgatory of NBA punt positions, because when you play like Kyle Singler for years, 30 plus minutes for Detroit every single night, and he'd finish with 10 fantasy points because you really just sit around the perimeter and don't do much. But this matchup makes it worthwhile. So a lot of Hernan Gomez right now. I'm getting a lot of Monty Morris based on price and minutes. I believe I'm getting a lot of Jokic. Let's see. No, wow. I didn't initially get a lot of Jokic. I'll probably change that. 11%.
So what center are you getting?
Let's see. Well, probably a ton of Len. A lot of Montrezl Harrell.
Okay.
And some Capella, which I don't want as much Capella as I have, but there's a decent segue into the next game with all that Montrezl Harrell I have.
Yeah, let's finish out this 3-game NBA DFS strategy slate with actually talking about the final game.
Perfect.
So you know something about the Clippers and the Spurs. I don't know. 112.25 implied total for the Clippers, 106.75 for the Spurs. Spurs coming off an absolutely embarrassing 20-point defeat to the Phoenix Suns without Trevor Ariza, no less. Not that I think Trevor Ariza is some world beater, but he's like one of the functional bodies that play for Phoenix. They don't have Tyson Chandler anymore. They just have whatever Rashawn Holmes is at center, who, when I watch a Suns game, the only thing I ever see is him committing a foul.
Yeah, Holmes blows, man.
Yeah.
He was with the Sixers for a long time.
Yeah, super springy, but let's talk about the Clippers side of this first.
Springy only gets you so far.
It does indeed. It gets you to the Suns.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out Marquise Chris, who's now in Houston. This is going to be a tough one for me. I'm going to have weird exposure to all sorts of different people. I didn't get any Tobias Harris on my first crunch. He's 8,300 on FanDuel. I like him quite a bit more on DK. I got a decent amount of Montrezl Harrell. I like him more on DK, though. Most of the Clippers are priced better on DraftKings. Is there anybody that stands out for you as someone you want to focus on?
Well, my opinion and projections right now are vastly different in some spots.
That's usually good.
And in this crunch, yeah, nice. Sometimes that happens for me.
Yeah.
Just, certain guys, I just think, aren't going to get the minutes or this or that, and I have to make some adjustments. It's, I just got to make adjustments, but this is just the first run. It's still pretty early here.
Sure.
And what I mean by that is that I'm not really feeling good about the amount of Tobias Harris right now.
Positively or negatively?
There's quite a bit of Tobias Harris
okay.
in my lineups. The positive though is that he's seeing a ton of minutes, and I don't think San Antonio gets rocked like they did yesterday. I mean, they're not a very good team.
They're not.
That's clear. They're not a very good team. I think they can, to some extent, stand their ground and stay competitive here. I'd feel comfortable coming in with like 25-30% Harris. I think that's pretty reasonable. Um, where's this on DraftKings? His ownership is projected around like 31%. I guess it feels like a spot I'd want to match the field on and not go much higher or lower because Tobias isn't the guy that is going to kill you all that often. He's been very consistent, right? Like
Sure.
Tobias has been really consistent, but he hasn't been a world beater. So I I keep finding myself coming back to Montrezl Harrell in a lot of spots. The question with Harrell here is, certain matchups definitely fit him better than others. And Golden State was, just a perfect matchup for Harrell. Milwaukee, to some extent, yes, but not as much. He still played 32 minutes. It's beginning to look like Josh Harrell might not be a matchup dependent play anymore in Doc Rivers' eyes. And if that's the case, you get another 30 minutes from him. So that when I say my projections are I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. I still have to decide where I'm at on Montrezl Harrell's minutes because that factors in heavily to how the rest of the forwards and the front court rotation kind of plays out for this Clippers team today.
Yeah, I have Harrell in for 29 minutes right now. He's
Okay.
pretty clearly the best point per minute guy on the Clippers. I think
Yeah.
he's pretty clearly the best option on the Clippers.
Harrell's been awesome this year.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And you were talking about Harris before. I'd actually just prefer to go to Gallinari.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
1,400 cheaper on DK. He's 1,800 cheaper on FanDuel. But it seems like the public is seeing that as well on FanDuel. We have Gallinari projected for a lot more ownership than Harris. Similar on DraftKings. So I don't like what do you think about playing both of those guys in the same lineup?
I don't think it's necessary because you're not like the odds that you're getting even on a 3-game slate, the odds you're getting a ceiling game or even close from both of them in the same game to me seems pretty unlikely.
Yeah, I know that that's probably a question that we would get from people, so I wanted to make sure that we got that out there.
Yeah, fair enough. I'd rather go like Harris Harrell or Gallo Harrell. That seems more appropriate, especially because Harrell can do a lot more. He can produce outside of scoring, right? He's averaging 2 blocks a game. Also, his scoring efficiency has been like insane lately. 10 for 13, 9 for 12, 8 for 9, 6 for 7. He's pretty much hitting all of the shots he makes. Now, is it sustainable that he's, missing 1 shot a game? No, it's not. But keep in mind the way that Montrezl Harrell plays, this does make some sense, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah, he's not shooting a lot of like 22 footers that have low
Exactly.
probability. It's a lot of
Right.
like near the rim, inside 5 feet stuff.
So check this out. Harrell's taken 104 shots this year. 93 of them are within 5 feet of the rim.
Right, like you should be shooting 65+%.
Exactly, and that's why you see it from like DeAndre Jordan. I mean, unless you're Bam Adebayo with the worst touch around the rim of any player ever, you're gonna shoot at a high percentage. 90% of his shots, 90% of his shots are within 5 feet of the rim, and 95% are from within 9 feet of the basket. So that's what you're getting. He's shooting 73% from within 5 feet. And, you like that quite a bit because if he only takes 8 or 9 shots, there's a good chance, 6 or 7 of them go in.
Yeah, I love Harrell. I don't understand why they would continue to try to trot out like the corpse of Marcin Gortat. Or look, I love Boban, but he's not an answer in most spots. He's certainly not an answer here.
In 2018, it's hard to have a guy like that help you win basketball games. That's the truth.
Yeah, he's the exact opposite of anything good. I mean, can you imagine if Boban played in like 1988?
Oh yeah, man. He would have like a legit. He'd have a legitimate game, a legitimate role every night.
He'd play 20 minutes a game probably if
Hmm.
he could stay on the court for that long, at least
Yeah,
like from a foul perspective. But yeah, oh my God, he would be a guy who would be a very different life for Boban.
man, he's ugly.
Very true. I'm gonna have some Avery Bradley if he's in today. He's $100 more than the minimum on FanDuel. I see that as an interesting spot to go to if you need to just punt, which is a very realistic scenario on FanDuel now.
I don't mind that because you can
Yeah, go
drop
ahead.
it.
Right, exactly. He's
On
$100 more than
DraftKings,
the
you're not
minimum.
touching him at 4,700 though,
No, not at all.
because he
Uh,
could come in and play like 18 minutes with the way that SGA's been playing.
and he's been getting big minutes too. I didn't. He's only had 11% ownership expected on FanDuel, 10% on DK. We're talking SGA now. I didn't get any, but it's something that I want to take a closer look at.
Yeah. Am I? Yeah, I got a good amount of him, but that's also because I ran it with Bradley out. I wanted
Okay.
to see what would happen if I ran it with Bradley not expected to play. So that definitely makes a difference, right? Like that
Yeah.
makes a big, and I think the biggest difference it makes might not even be final results, but just having no idea, the uncertainty, I think makes the biggest difference because I mean, this is a young guy, Gilgeous Alexander. He's a one of the top picks in the draft. Like you definitely want to develop this kid, and that's what we're seeing. And he's starting to play really well. But how much does Bradley take away? Um, and we don't really know right now. So that's my biggest issue.
Yeah, the minutes in the backcourt for the Clippers when everybody's healthy are interesting. It's, you got to get the right amount of minutes to Lou Will, Gilgeous Alexander, Beverly, and if Bradley is there, I mean that's what, 96 minutes for those four guys.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take a little bit of a haircut. You don't expect Avery Bradley to get a ton here, so it makes me definitely not want Lou Williams.
Yeah. Again, I have no idea. Like I really have no idea what it would look like if Bradley plays. If Lou Will if Bradley doesn't play, Lou Williams went from playing 25, 26 minutes to 36, 33, and 32.
Yeah.
That last one was an overtime game, but still, he's getting Lou Williams is getting way more run lately, like way, way, way more run.
Yeah, I think he's the
And
biggest detractor then if Bradley is back. He has to take a decent haircut in time, and he's just priced up now.
yeah, I Teodosic isn't even playing.
No.
Uh, we won't even talk about Tyrone Wallace.
Hey, Dosage should be the backup point guard for the Pelicans right now.
Yeah?
I don't know.
What makes you say that?
They need a point guard.
I guess so.
Alfred Payton's hurt, and the other alternative is Tim Frazier.
Yeah, they're not exactly chock full of talent.
No.
But yeah, the Bradley news is like very important to me. That's going to play heavily into a lot of decisions because if he's out, then you could project Lou Williams for around 30 minutes again,
Yeah.
and that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Lou Will at 6K if we know that he can get 30 minutes is very important. Guy in the YouTube chat said Rivers already said SGA won't lose many minutes when Bradley comes back. Lou Will and Beverly will lose them.
Right. And that's the thing. SGA is the young you want to get him into the lineup. Hell, you're starting him alongside Beverly to get him as many minutes as possible. And Teodosic, who was a guy that last year you're like, okay, this is someone they want to develop. This is somebody that they want to get, heavily worked into the rotation. He's basically been bumped out of it almost entirely. So, yeah, this is interesting. Lou Williams, by the way, I would expect to see something similar where in the first half he plays like 10, 12 minutes
Yep.
and then just gets a ton of minutes in the second half. Like, comes in halfway through the third, plays the whole rest of the third, and then plays like 10 of 12, 11 of 12 minutes in the fourth. That's a lot of times you see that with these bench guys in close games. Coaches just unleash them in the second half.
Ted, I like Lou if Avery Bradley's not there, but I have a hard time getting to Lou at his price if we don't know what the minute situation is going to look like.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh man, that even so, I get a little bit hesitant with Lou Williams.
Yeah, look, 6K is not bad on DK.
If Bradley's
out.
If Bradley's out on DraftKings, if Bradley's out, would you rather have Gary Harris or Lou Williams?
Let me look. I just want to make sure I'm seeing everything correctly first.
6,100 and 6,000. And why?
I would rather have Lou Williams if Bradley is out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would I, but that Atlanta matchup's tough to ignore.
Yeah.
Lou Williams.
It's close, but I would rather have Lou Williams if Bradley is out.
I would as well.
Too many other pieces on Denver against Atlanta. They don't need any one particular guy to go off. That's what kind of makes it scary for me.
Right. Where are you at on the Spurs?
I should be down on them after LaMarcus Aldridge just pulled down my pants and gave me the business last night. I had more LaMarcus Aldridge. Here's the craziest part about yesterday. I had my best NBA night of the season last night, and LaMarcus Aldridge was the guy that I had the most exposure to.
The 20 fantasy points didn't help you?
No, honestly, like I didn't get a lot out of that. 18.4 FanDuel points in 29 minutes and a 20-point drubbing from the Suns. 3 of 12 from the field. He had 12 boards. He had 6 points.
Yeah.
6. No assists.
They were down like 20 points in the first quarter.
Yeah. So I was able to overcome it. So if I had a bad night yesterday, I would probably really be sour on the Spurs, but I think I'm willing to go back. I'm going to have Aldridge. I'm going to have to take a closer look at DeRozan. DeRozan is a spot that I did not get to. If someone like Alex Len is out, then I'm clearly going to get a lot more DeRozan because I'll have more money to spend. But I'm going to go to Aldridge. I'm going to have some of the punt plays from San Antonio, whether that's Bryn Forbes or Patty Mills or Bertans. Like, these are guys that I'll throw away on FanDuel, or at least take the chance to throw away. I think the most appealing piece of this entire game is Derek White on DraftKings at 4,800.
Yeah, it probably is. I have a little bit of hesitation, but I'll likely have some Derek White. If Avery Bradley plays, by the way, I'll have more Derek White, because I'll have less exposure to that backcourt for the Clippers.
Yeah,
but yeah, right now I'm coming in around like 30% Derek White, and I feel pretty okay about that on a small slate. Like, I think 30% is a number that I'm okay with.
Oh yeah.
His projected ownership is like half of that right now, which is kind of surprising, but I guess it makes sense. He hasn't been that great. But I think Pop gives him, I think you see another 28, 30 minutes here. And I'm all right with that. You know, the assists, the potential assists, I'd like to see them higher. But at the same time, I just know that outside of DeRozan, there's nobody else on this team that has any capacity to be a quality facilitator, right?
No.
Like, not Bryn Forbes.
No.
Aldridge might give you a couple per game, but you're not banking on that. Not Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay will have a couple, but he's not looking to pass. He should play, by the way. He was resting last game. So think about it. There's no reason that White shouldn't be able to have a good game here. And it's actually similar to what I've been saying about Colin Sexton, that even though the guy hasn't been very good, he's still getting the opportunity on a team that lacks shooters. And he had 24 points yesterday.
Yeah.
Fantasy production wasn't great because the assists haven't been there. But when you're playing enough minutes and you're getting enough touches, you got to be at least considered. and Derek White at 4,800 is firmly in play on this 3-game slate for sure.
Yeah, he's a fantastic value. What's his eligibility on DK? Is it point guard, shooting guard, or just point
Yeah,
guard?
solo point guard.
That's kind of crummy. Still,
So is SGA, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. Ricky Domini says nothing was stopping White last night. Suns are the worst against point guards, and he barely passed 20 FanDuel points. Yeah, it didn't really go that well for the Spurs last night, just sort of in general.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he had a great game. None of them did, and it's also only one game.
Yeah. I am going to not be happy about having parts of the Spurs tonight.
Me neither. Even Derek White, I don't feel awesome about it, but he's cheap. He's running the point.
This should be this will tell probably a pretty big story on how this game goes. Clippers are first in the league in free throw rate offensively. Spurs second defensively in limiting trips to the line. So if that breaks one direction either way, Clippers rely on it quite a bit for their offense. The Spurs, it's kind of their saving grace for them defensively, keeping people off of the charity stripe. So if that goes weird one way or the other, I think it paints a really big picture for this game.
It certainly could. But there's no question that the Spurs defense has not been very good this year.
No.
As a whole.
No. That's the only thing they've been doing well, is just not giving up freebies, which is
Yeah.
what I would expect from a team that's got the best structure in the league.
It's strange to see that the Spurs are allowing the 6th highest field goal percentage, 10th highest 3-point percentage to their opponents.
Yeah. 21st in effective field goal percentage. That is not good.
No, it's not. You know what stat I always find funny? Opponent free throw percentage.
Yeah. It should not be looked at.
What are they good at, getting in their heads when they're at the line or something?
I'll say this. I do like to see if it's been ridiculous one way or the other.
Yeah, it is kind of funny because the Bulls are allowing 80.3% shooting on free throws, and the Spurs are allowing 72.2. If I had to guess, though, I'm pretty confident that if you looked at the opponents and if you looked at the guys that went to the rim, the Spurs have just faced a lot more guys that have lower free throw percentages career. That to me would make sense.
I would agree.
Dumb stat.
Completely agree. What do you want to do with DeRozan tonight? 8,900 on FanDuel, 88 on DK. I think this could probably be the last thing we touch on.
I still think DeRozan is a bit too cheap, and especially you look at the way that he's been playing recently. He hasn't had that many good games, but almost all of DeRozan's good games, like big games this year, have come in really tight games, like real competitive contests. And I still think, forget about the blowout last night. You can't go from one night to the other. We just saw Cleveland blow out the Hornets, trash them, and then get trashed by Washington the following night. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put my faith in Popovich to get them back on the horse and have a decent game, right? Just at least competitive.
True.
If they're going to stay competitive, it's going to be LaMarcus Aldridge. Or I'm sorry, DeMar DeRozan. Aldridge will play a role, no question. It's kind of a two-man show there in San Antonio. But there's no doubt that DeRozan will be needed to put up big numbers. And what I love about DeRozan this year is that it's not just scoring. I know we started seeing a lot more of that last year, but he's averaging a career best 6.4 assists per game. He's been their de facto point guard, especially before White arrived, and I don't think White's going to affect him much. He's averaging a career high 6.3 rebounds per game. His assist rate and rebound rate are through the roof, comparatively speaking. And he's averaging a career high, or not a career high, but 24.9 points per game. So it's weird that he kind of cut down his three-point shooting this year, but I'll take that because he's giving you more assists, he's passing more, he's getting more rebounds. All of the ingredients are there for DeRozan to have a huge game tonight, and especially if Bradley's out, where you have one less quality defender. I think it's more so just that his prices come down. His ownership should not be I don't know about you, but I don't think DeRozan's ownership is going to be as high as it's projected at right now. I don't.
I mean, I would agree with you in that, we have him projected at 36% on FanDuel, and I got 3. So, I'm also leaning lower than his number.
How much Harden and Durant did you get?
69 on Harden.
And how much on Durant?
18.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not. These aren't final.
Right. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to look to work in Durant and Harden, Durant and Jokic, and DeRozan might end up being the odd man out. I mean, it's a 3-game slate. I still think he's going to have plenty of ownership,
Sure.
but
yeah, I won't look at this stuff until 6:00 tonight, because if we get center changes everything.
Oh yeah, Alex Len changes everything.
Yeah, I'm just, if Alex Len doesn't play, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have so much Alex Len that I'll naturally get to other guys. I'm not gonna end up with 70% Hernan Gomez. That'll move money around. He's only 4,100, but it changes where I take value. I'm guessing if DeMar DeRozan is 35% owned like he is on FanDuel in our ownership projections, I'll have DeRozan at 15 or 20.
Yeah, sounds about right. I don't know if I got any of them initially. I got 8%. I'd like to. That's on DraftKings. I'd like to get that up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Just because DeRozan does have blow up potential, no question. This just feels like one of those games where he's desperately needed and ends up going off. So I'm waiting for it to happen, and it's a very good chance it happens today.
For sure. All right, we did 2 separate shows today. One about the
Jokic.
Yeah, one about Jokic and Embiid. One about the actual games. I think we're good to get out of here.
I would agree. Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
Jakob Poeltl played 19 minutes last night. I would be very leery about getting any ideas there.
Yeah, I don't have those same minutes happening again today.
Right. I know people ask questions, what about this guy? What about this guy? Poeltl, Metu Pondexter, Davis Bertans, and Derek White closed that game out for the last. Well, White played almost the whole quarter, but the last 6 minutes and 42 seconds, the first 4 guys I mentioned came. The bench was emptied, and Pop, in knowing it was the first game of a back-to-back, just let him go. Poeltl probably would have played 11 minutes had that not been the case.
He should be playing way more for this team.
He should. He has not looked very good.
No.
This is true. He's not been very good, but the kid actually has a decent amount of talent, and it's not like there's a whole lot in front of him that should be holding him back from getting at least 15 minutes per game. With the way they've been playing, I don't think he's the reason you would lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, if you're gonna bring him back in that Kawhi trade, in a season where you're not really playing for anything, why aren't you trotting him out there for 15 to 20 minutes to figure out what he is?
Right. They've got Pop, but they've got to know they don't have a chance of competing this year.
They have zero. There's a 0% chance that the San Antonio Spurs win a title. There's a 0% chance that they make a NBA Finals. I think there's probably close to a 0% chance they make the conference finals.
Shit, they didn't have a chance last year.
They might not make the playoffs. That's a more likely scenario. So just play Jakob Poeltl and figure it out.
I don't think they will make the playoff. I don't know. It's tough.
Where are they? Let's see. 538 NBA projections.
They're 7 and 6. They're 9th. But the reason it's tough is because Sacramento is ahead of them. Both LAs are ahead of them. Memphis is 8 and 5.
They have a 16% chance per 538 of making the playoffs. Just play Jakob Poeltl and figure it out.
Yeah, give them some run. Houston's definitely gonna get better than 6 and 7. They're gonna make the playoffs. They'll probably finish as a top 3 seed. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they go on a 20-game win streak. New Orleans is probably better than San Antonio. There's plenty of teams that are right ahead of them or behind them that are better than them.
Yeah, they're not that good of a basketball team any longer.
Nah, they need work, man.
Yeah.
They need some serious work.
Not having Murray is certainly not helping, but you have the perfect opportunity to test out some youth. Do it.
Yep.
Do it.
Jakob Poeltl's 30 years old, by the way.
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, dude. You got me on that one.
He's 23.
That's what I thought. Okay. Like and subscribe, everybody. Promo code NBA Strategy will get you 7 free days if you want to try out our stuff. We will have the deep dive coming from Adam in the early afternoon. Lock is an hour later tonight, people, 8 o'clock. So the deeper dive will be from sometime around 6 p.m. until 7. And then from 7 to 8, you'll get myself and Fast Eddie Fear taking you all the way up until lock. And what are you thinking, 7:30 tonight? Three fellas talking some foosball?
Oh, that's right. It's another 8 p.m. That makes it difficult. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Oh no, I mean you guys can go whenever you want. We're having on air production meeting quickly.
I just met with NBA locks, so
oh yeah.
Yeah, around 7. So probably a little later. We talk showdown slate, so 7:30, 7:40, something like that. Yeah, get a good 30, 40 minutes in.
Yeah, come check it out. Subscribe today. Come in, hang out in Slack chat. It's going to be a slow NBA day, so we'll have time to talk a bit more theoretical stuff. Maybe we'll get into a nice Embiid, Jokic, Awesemo.com member debate in Slack today.
Yeah, you'll probably lose that, but I'm happy to oblige.
Seems like I lost it pretty brutally so far today. Can't get any worse than that. I mean, I don't know why all you guys are just so happy with being wrong.
Oh. This is really the hill you want to die on, huh?
I got to die somewhere, right?
That's the truth. Well, maybe we found your resting.
Till I plug into that matrix.
That'll do it.
All right, that's it. Best of luck, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Just remember, guys, it's all fun. None of this is real. I don't care. It's not. We don't have to get angry.
It's horse shit. It's all real.
It's fun to be a talking head and to just say random stuff. But I'm gonna, Jokic is awesome. He's better than Embiid on offense. That's all.
It's not fun is looking at my golf lineups. I'm terrible at PGA. Yeah, the god awful golf lineups. And
Go Tiger.
I'm probably done already, and all my golfers are four holes in, or they haven't even teed off yet.
Get yourself to the Awesemo.com Slack channel and get into the premium golf channel, because I'm sure there are a bunch of other people also saying they are done 4 holes in.
Yeah, it doesn't look pretty.
All right, everybody. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you later.